Welcome to today's episode of Cold Case. Analysis in this video is based on witness testimonies and investigation findings by the authorities.
XYZ had been known to my wife. They knew one another. But Mula, by the time I entered, they had done the introduction because they were talking of, that lady, yes, they had some shared relatives or friends.
Okoth Obado is a Kenyan politician and former governor of Migori County. He served as governor from 2013 to 2022, initially elected on a People's Democratic Party (PDP) ticket and later affiliated with the People's Democratic Movement (PDM). Obado is a trained teacher with a master's degree in strategic management and a bachelor's in education from Kenyatta University. His tenure was marked by significant controversy. In 2018, a case that we will discuss on today's episode, he was charged with the murder of his pregnant girlfriend, Sharon Otieno, a case that attracted national attention. Additionally, he faced allegations of embezzling public funds. In 2020, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission (EACC) arrested Obado and his 4 children, Dan Akola Okoth, Scarlett Susan Okoth, Everline Zachary Okoth, and Jerry Zachary Okoth, over the theft of 73.4 million shillings from the Migori County government. Investigations revealed that the funds were funneled through companies linked to Obado and his family, with some money used for personal expenses such as school fees abroad and the purchase of luxury vehicles and properties. Sharon Otieno was a 26-year-old second-year medical records and information student at Rongo University in Migori County, Kenya. She was also a mother of 3 children and was 7 months pregnant at the time of her tragic death. Sharon was abducted on September 3, 2018, and her body was discovered the following day in a forest in Homa Bay County. Sharon's death has highlighted issues of gender-based violence and the abuse of power, prompting widespread public outcry and calls for justice. The murder of Sharon Otieno, a 26-year-old Rongo University student, has been a high-profile case in Kenya, involving former Migori Governor Okoth Obado and 2 co-accused. Sharon was abducted on September 3, 2018, and her body was discovered in a forest in Homa Bay County the following day. Legal proceedings. In January 2025, the High Court ruled that Obado, his former personal assistant Michael Oyemo, and former Migori County Clerk Caspal Obiero have a case to answer regarding Sharon's murder. The prosecution had presented 42 witnesses, including a journalist who was abducted alongside Sharon. The court found sufficient evidence to proceed with the trial, but acquitted the accused of charges related to the death of Sharon's unborn child, citing insufficient evidence. Defense strategy. Obado has indicated his intention to provide sworn testimony and call 2 witnesses in his defense. Oyemo plans to present a sworn statement and 4 witnesses, while Obiero will submit a sworn statement and call 5 witnesses. The defense hearings are scheduled for April 23 to 25 and May 19 to 23, 2025. Witness testimonies. A key witness, taxi driver Jackson Gom, testified that he drove Sharon and her abductors on the night of her disappearance. He described being ordered to stop in an isolated area, where Sharon was taken into the forest and not returned. Gom later reported threats to his life, prompting the court to warn the accused against interfering with witnesses. The trial is ongoing, and the court's final judgment will depend on the defense's presentation and the evaluation of all evidence. During the trial concerning her murder, it was revealed that Sharon Otieno had made substantial financial demands from former Migori Governor Okoth Obado. A key witness, former Homa Bay MCA Lawrence Mula, testified that Sharon requested a house valued between 20 million Kenyan shillings and 25 million, located in either Nairobi or Kisumu. A monthly upkeep of 5 million Kenyan shillings. A vehicle comparable to that of a governor's wife. 200,000 Kenyan shillings for her prenatal care, insisting on being treated at Nairobi Hospital, stating, "Remember, I'm the governor's wife and I'm carrying his child." Governor Obado reportedly found these demands excessive but agreed to a more modest arrangement. He proposed purchasing land for approximately 800,000 Kenyan shillings and constructing a house valued between 3 million Kenyan shillings and 4 million, which Sharon accepted.
Proposal for housing in Nairobi or in Kisumu were discussed, and I discouraged them, and Mula also concurred with my view. So I asked Mula to go and relay to her that it would be much more easier for her to be settled around Homa Bay, not in town but just around Homa Bay. Mula told me that she was not very, very comfortable with that. She wanted Nairobi or Kisumu, but he assured me that he was going to convince her to accept.
Additionally, he provided 30,000 Kenyan shillings from his wife to assist with Sharon's immediate needs. However, before the funds were disbursed, Sharon requested 200,000 Kenyan shillings for her clinic visits and upkeep, which was delivered by Obado's personal assistant, Michael Oyemo. Subsequently, Sharon insisted that Mula cease mediating her affairs, indicating she would handle matters.
How about health-related issues while pregnant for you? This is before honeymoon. Was that ever discussed?
That one, my lady, was also discussed. I'd agreed that I would be channeling my assistance through Mula. And that was being done, even though we had terminated the relationship. But I was still assisting.
A key witness in the Sharon Otieno murder trial is the journalist who was abducted alongside her on September 3, 2018. His testimony has been pivotal in detailing the events leading up to Sharon's tragic death. The journalist, whose identity has been withheld for security reasons, testified that he and Sharon were abducted by 3 men. He described how he managed to escape by jumping from a moving vehicle traveling at speeds between 80 and 100 kilometers per hour. Following his escape, he sought refuge in the home of a taxi driver, Kennedy Onyango Kasera, who confirmed the journalist's account in court. Kasera testified that the journalist, who identified himself as Barack, entered his home in a distressed state, claiming to have been kidnapped with a woman and managed to escape. The journalist also mentioned that the woman had been impregnated by a governor and that they were meeting with the governor's personal assistant.
Came to know Sharon was about 3 to 4 weeks ago. That one could qualify to be a month ago. I was in my workstation within Homa Bay town. This particular person called Lawrence Mula. Lawrence Mula is a former MCA of Kanyadoto. Kanyadoto is a ward within Homa Bay County. He came and told me that he has a friend who wants my help as a journalist. This is the first day I interviewed Sharon. On this day I took several of these photos, and I took photos of WhatsApp conversations. So I asked the lady again, so you've brought all this, you have all this evidence. When did the governor supported you last financially, because you claim the governor has abandoned you? She told me about 2 to 3 weeks ago, the governor gave me about 100,000 shillings. Then I told her, then the governor has not abandoned you, because if somebody gave you 300,000, if somebody gave you 100,000 about 2 to 3 weeks ago, how does that one now result to abandonment? She said, no, you do not understand how the governor was treating me. This matter of 100,000 and what was nothing. I could get any amount I wanted from the governor. I could even cheat him, I'm sick. He could give me even 200,000 to 300,000. She played for me a recording. The recording was between the governor and her. They were speaking in vernacular. The governor was pleading with her to do an abortion. And she was hesitant. The governor was telling her, no, if you want to be a good girl, you should just do what I've told you. I'm going to give you money to ensure that you have done abortion. You know, I'm a big person. I cannot endure such kind of shame. Somebody called me around 10. The person identified himself as the governor of Migori. I asked him, where have you gotten my number? He told me, see, I've gotten your number from my friend. Then I asked him, are you aware of this lady called Sharon? He told me, yeah, I know her. Sharon claims that she's pregnant because of you and you've abandoned her. She told me that that is a matter I can neither agree or deny. He told me that particular lady wants to blackmail me with the pregnancy matter. And so because of that, all this matter you will be dealing with through my personal assistant. Sharon told me that the governor of Migori, Okoth Obado, through his personal assistant, Michael Oyamo, wants to meet us. We went with Sharon to Rongo Town. On reaching Rongo Town, I suggested that we have a meeting at a hotel called Grasha. Then we saw two men standing by the roadside. Sigari ka park sideways. Venye amefungua tu mlango hivi, mtu mmoja akaingia pali pake venye alikaa next to Sharon. Mtu mwingine akakuja akanishongeza forcefully hivi, akafunga mlango, gari ikatoka. Gari ikatoka few meters, ndio akasema, they started with me eti, funga simu yako. These guys had weapons. And the other guy who was sitting next to Sharon was asking her, how have you known this guy? And the co-driver was saying, you guys have ever wanted to see the governor. We are taking you to see him. You do not need to get worried. Those ones were the last conversations before I jumped out of the moving car. When the vehicle went some meters, they stopped. The two people who came was this person who was next to me. Alitoka nje na yule co-driver. Yule jamaa alikuwa na Sharon ni kama alibaki tu na yeye kwa gari. They came running towards me. Alafu nikamka ndio nikakimbia. I thought they could not execute her.
After the incident, the journalist was treated at Kendu Sub-County Hospital. Clinical officer Harun Diaro testified that the journalist sustained injuries to his knees and palms, consistent with someone who had jumped from a moving vehicle. The journalist appeared somber and shaken but was not under the influence of alcohol. The journalist's testimony has been corroborated by other witnesses, including taxi driver Jackson Gom, who drove Sharon and her abductors on the night of her disappearance. Gom testified that he was ordered to stop in an isolated area, where Sharon was taken into the forest and not returned. He later reported threats to his life, prompting the court to warn the accused against interfering with witnesses. Appearing before Lady Justice Jessie Wanjiku Lizzie, the trio of Obado, Obiero, and Oyemo faced the charge of murdering the fetus that was developing inside the womb of the slain university student Sharon Otieno, a charge that they denied. The judge extended their stay in remand for 4 days. In the ongoing trial of former Migori Governor Okoth Obado for the 2018 murder of Sharon Otieno, the court has ruled that Obado and his co-accused, Michael Oyemo and Caspal Obiero, have a case to answer regarding Sharon's death. However, the court acquitted them of the charge concerning the death of Sharon's 28-week-old unborn child. DNA test results presented in court established with 99.99% certainty that Obado was the father of Sharon's unborn child. Additionally, a post-mortem examination revealed that both Sharon and her unborn child died from severe hemorrhaging caused by sharp object trauma. The fetus was found to have been killed while still in the womb, and had not been born alive. Justice Cecilia Githua, in her ruling, noted that the prosecution failed to establish a prima facie case for the murder of the unborn child. She emphasized that the offense of killing an unborn child under Section 228 of the Penal Code applies when the child is capable of being born alive. Since the fetus had not proceeded from Sharon's body in a living state, it did not meet the legal definition of a person capable of being killed. As of May 2025, former Migori Governor Okoth Obado is actively defending himself in two major legal cases: the 2018 murder of Sharon Otieno and a separate corruption case involving the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC. Sharon Otieno murder trial. In January 2025, the High Court ruled that Obado, along with his co-accused Michael Oyemo and Caspal Obiero, has a case to answer in the murder of Rongo University student Sharon Otieno. The prosecution presented 42 witnesses, including a journalist who was abducted alongside Sharon. The court found sufficient evidence to proceed with the trial but acquitted the accused of charges related to the death of Sharon's unborn child, citing the born alive principle. Obado is scheduled to present his defense from April 23 to April 25, 2025. He intends to provide sworn testimony and call two witnesses. His co-accused, Oyemo and Obiero, will present their defenses separately from May 19 to May 23, 2025.
We would want these girls to be assisted. We have so many organizations. They came here, but we have not seen much. So we want these girls to be taken care of, the children, so that they should not suffer.
She was the one who was to be a pillar in this family. So I did not get the fruits that I planted.
It is my belief that justice shall be found on the death of Sharon and the late boy of Sharon, baby Sharon.
Over 7 years after brutal murder of their kin, Sharon's family is still waiting for justice over her death as President Ruto's UDA party appointed the former governor as UDA head in Migori County.